What's going on, everyone? DSP here with another episode of DSP's Inbox. It's been a couple of weeks since the last time we did one of these, and therefore a lot of good questions have accumulated. I've actually got 3 full pages this time, and so I'm going to go ahead and try to get through some of them as quickly as possible. I will still try to give as good of answers as I have in the past. But just so everyone knows, I'm going along with the same thing I did last time with the Twitter questions. I actually have 10 questions pulled from Twitter that I just had asked for momentarily ago, and really good questions, so let's get straight to it. First question here. Would you ever consider becoming a video game caster? I ask this because your playthroughs can also be seen as you casting your own games. I think it would be pretty cool to hear you casting in an EVO tournament as one of their official casters or commentators after your one last hurrah at EVO that you mentioned you might go on, so blah 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 blah. I guess my point can be summed up with this. I would much rather hear Darkside Phil commenting at Evolution 2011 than Adam Sessler. Keep up the good work, and I wish you good luck in the future. Always a fan, DeBomb88. Well, DeBomb, the answer is this. I did once or twice, I did do a little bit of casting on local podcasts, or not podcasts, but streams that were going on at some Connecticut tournaments a couple months ago. People seem to enjoy it. Would I consider doing it? Absolutely, especially, if that's something that a lot of people would like to hear. However, I'm not in charge of EVO. I don't really talk to those people that much. Actually, I don't talk to them at all anymore. And so what I have to say is, if you would like to see me do something like that, I am seriously considering going to EVO in 2011. I guess it all depends on how this whole YouTube thing works out, seeing if I end up still doing this as my full-time job, if I make enough money that I can go on a trip like that. But if I do go next year, and I mean, if EVO asked me to do it for certain games, absolutely I would do it. I would say probably the games that I would more likely like to do it for are either Street Fighter 4, Super Turbo, whatever iteration they have, whether it's HD Remix or whatever, or I am planning to really get into Marvel vs. Capcom 3 next year, because Marvel 1 and 2 were some of my most favorite fighting games that I played in a tournament setting. I'm definitely going to get into Marvel 3, so if I really get up on that game and I know everything going on in that game, and that would definitely be something I would consider doing a casting for. But like I said, I personally don't control anything like that. So I guess what I could say is, if you guys are interested in seeing something like that, you got to let the guys over at Shoryuken.com, the guys that run the Evolution Tournament Series, know that you're interested in that. But don't destroy, don't go out and start spamming and things like that, but start an intelligent discussion and see what happens. And go from there. Okay, up next. Next question is, I know since the whole laid off thing, you've been trying to get more popular on YouTube, and I was wondering if, in order to get more popular, you would ever change your style of commentary. Don't get me wrong, I do love your commentary, but I'm saying it might not be appealing to everyone. You do swear a lot in your videos and use some crude humor, and I was wondering if in the future you would change your commentary style to appeal to a wider range of people. Thank you for your time, and that's from Conan McDonald. Thank you, Conan. And the answer is this: absolutely not. Under no circumstances would I ever change who I am or what I do. The reason that I became popular on YouTube is because I stayed true to what I was. I didn't change what I was doing. I'm simply there to play video games, give my honest reactions, give some jokes and commentary and things while I play, and that's why people like what I do. If I all of a sudden try to go to a PG rating, it's going to change the product, it's going to change what I am, and it could be hit or miss, but honestly, I wouldn't enjoy doing it with a PG rating. I love saying what I want to say, making the kind of jokes that I want to make, and just having fun with what I'm doing. The bottom line is this: if I'm not having fun, then it's going to be, this whole YouTube thing is going to become like work, like a full-time job thing, and therefore it's not going to be fun for me. I'm not going to want to do it anymore. So, and plus, it's not going to come across as fun. Me having fun, you won't have fun watching it either. A lot of people have said that. Phil, the reason that we really enjoy watching your videos is because you're having fun, we have fun with you, and that's why we really like it. So, no, I wouldn't consider changing my style of commentary. I'm going to stay true to who I am, no matter what. Even if someone were to sign me to go to work for a major website, I have to tell them, listen, this is how I do things, and if you don't like it, then don't sign me. It's that simple. Okay, the next question. Dear DSP, this is a good one because I've actually wanted to speak out about this one for a little bit. Some guy named Jace Hall made this Street Fighter rap music video. IGN Entertainment has posted the video on their YouTube channel. I had watched the video and thought it was total bullshit. Like, seriously, how fanboyish. Anyway, I wanted to show your opinion on I wanted to know your opinion on the matter, sorry. Whether you agree with me or you think that the video is pretty legitimate. Anything that you would say would be greatly appreciated, and the link is at the bottom and he linked me to it. But actually, incidentally, I've already seen this video. That was actually from Bill, or Gaia Bill, I guess is his online name. Well, need a sip of water before I start on this one. Let me tell you something. There are people out there who do good music based off of video game music. I've mentioned one of them before. Their name is Power Glove. There are a couple other good bands that do it. They basically remix video game music, and they can do it like rock or like rap. That's pretty cool. But I saw this video from Jace Hall, and let me tell you something. He's taken himself way too seriously. He actually tried to make a serious rap video with lyrics based around Street Fighter gameplay. He raps about Justin Wong, and Justin Wong is actually in the music video for this. The hooks that he has, which are basically the chorus lines, are sung by some girl who I don't know who the hell she is, never heard of her, and she's not very good. Overall, the video and the song ends up seeming really lame. I'm not trying to hate or anything. I mean, to be honest, you know, I've listened to all kinds of music in my life. The song sucks. And what I have to kind of say, and I know this is going to sound hateful, but when you see stuff like that, when you see someone who's like a gamer and he's trying to make out like he's a serious rap artist and trying to turn Street Fighter into a rap theme, this is the reason why gamers get a bad rap and get called nerds all the time. Because I'll tell you right now, watching that video, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be a Street Fighter player if people are going to watch that video and think that the kind of people in that video and the guy rapping in that video are indicative of people who play Street Fighter. So I kind of grinned, kind of turned a little bit green when I watched the video. I don't know why the video was made. I don't know who greenlit it. I don't know if it was trying to make a profit or whatever. In my opinion, it's not very good. It's kind of, to me, it's like the kiddie music that you watch on the Disney Channel and shit like that. You know, it wasn't legitimate music to me, and because of that, I didn't like it. Now, not to say that other people won't like it. I'm sure there are people out there who might enjoy that kind of stuff. Me, I say, if you're going to talk about serious rap music and video games, they don't mix. Anytime you put Justin Wong in a music video, it doesn't work, and that's that. That's my opinion on the subject. I think it sucked. Okay. A couple things I want to get out of the way. A lot of people have asked me about this game called Minecraft. I watched a video of it on YouTube for like maybe 5 minutes. It looks to me like someone took an engine of like one of those old first-person shooter games from the 90s, like Hexen or something like that, a Doom-style game, and they made this really odd-looking game. I don't understand what the fad is, why so many people are interested in this game. A lot of people have asked me about playing it. I really have no interest in playing it. If someone can maybe tell me why I should be playing this game or testing it out, I might reconsider or think or twice about it. But from what I've seen, the game's not very impressive. It looks like an old, you know, pixely FPS shooter from the 90s, and I don't understand what the fad is. So let me know. Give me some feedback on that. Yes, for the 1,000,000th time, I will be doing the Red Dead Redemption DLC Undead Nightmare. I know I haven't done the other DLCs that came out for the game simply because they were multiplayer expansions that really didn't add much besides maybe a new multiplayer map here or there, a new character here or there. This one is actually a legitimate single-player campaign being added to the game. I do still have Red Dead Redemption, and I am looking forward to playing that DLC. After I play that one, I'll probably get rid of the game. So I know it's coming out this month. I'm not sure of the exact release date, but when it comes out, be sure I will be checking that out. There, so those two are now out of the way. This next one's hilarious. And it starts, here we go. Phil, I'm not accusing you of plagiarism. So wait a minute, the beginning of his question is, I'm not accusing you of plagiarism. So you know this is going to be a good one. But did you take these ideas for DSP Tries It in your wrestling show from the Cinema Snob and Spoonie's Wrestle websites? And that's from Kavinsky. First of all, a lot of people know that I do watch content from the website That Guy with the Glasses simply because I talk about it from time to time. I've talked about the Nostalgia Critic, for example, and in some comments on videos I have referenced Spoonie from here and there. I do watch their stuff from time to time. Now let me ask you the question. His question is, Cinema Snob does a series where he tries different things, different foods, different drinks, and comments on it. Spoonie does a series called Wrestle Wrestle where he weekly talks about wrestling. Am I plagiarizing off of them? Let me ask you something. If I talk about a movie and what I feel about the movie, am I plagiarizing Siskel and Ebert? If I go fucking wipe my ass, am I plagiarizing Charmin? I mean, this is crazy. Did I come up with the ideas for these shows to rate stuff or talk about subject matter? Absolutely not. People have been doing that since the dawn of time. They give their opinions on things. So for you to think that any time that someone does a show where they're giving their opinion on something, that means it's plagiarism, you're wrong. You're off base. What plagiarism means is if you actually steal content from someone's show or book or something like that. So for example, on Spoonie's show Wrestle Wrestle, if I completely lifted a paragraph of what he was saying on that show of commentary on a wrestling show, and I copy and pasted it into my show and completely just copied what he was saying, yeah, that's plagiarism. But the honest truth is I don't watch Spoonie's Wrestle Wrestle. And I've only seen one episode of it ever, that was months ago. And it's cool that he does a wrestling commentary. I've wanted to do something like a wrestling commentary for a long time now, but I haven't had a chance to do it because I've been so busy and I had a full-time job that was taking up my time. Now I actually have the time to watch all the wrestling shows, to watch the pay-per-views as I've been doing over the past 2 weeks, and therefore I have the time to make this new wrestling show. Has nothing to do with the fact that anyone else is doing a show. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. Do you know how many other people do wrestling commentaries online, whether it's in a podcast form, a video form, a written text form? I mean, there's got to be thousands of them. So for you to say that I'm plagiarizing these people is completely off base, and you don't actually understand what the word plagiarism means. So, incidentally, I mean, and the other thing about Cinema Snob doesn't even get as close to as many views as I do, so for you to think that I'm plagiarizing a guy that basically isn't even close to as popular as me is kind of ridiculous. But no, I'm not copying anything from these people, and I'm going to continue on with my own series, and that's that. So please, before you start making accusations like that, look up the word in the dictionary and try to understand what the hell it means. Knuckleheads. Okay. This next question... Alright, let's just roll through it here. Hey Phil, I wanted to know how you managed to get to the point where making a video where you talk directly to the camera, I guess like this one, is almost natural. I remember a time where you didn't appear in front of the camera and a lot of people wanted to see you in person. And that is actually true. Back in 2008 and halfway through 2009, I had never shown myself on camera because all I'd done was playthroughs of video games, and people were like, oh, we're demand to see DSP, we can't wait to see what he looks like, and people had all these conceptions of what I was going to be, what kind of a person I was going to be. Did it take time to adjust talking to a camera? Okay, and that's pretty much the gist of his question. That's from Column, I can't say his name, in the UK. Great question. The answer is basically, throughout my life, whether it was in school, whether it was at work, whether it was at my most recent job, which I was unfortunately laid off from, I've always been good for getting up in front of the public and speaking. It really came from back in grammar school and high school. I entered myself into a lot of these competitions of oratory things. So I would do a report, for example, on a president, and I would go up in front of the entire school and read the report. And just practicing that over and over. When I was a small kid, I used to read in front of my parents first, then maybe in front of my family members and friends, and then I would actually do it in front of the school for the competition. Led me to basically get accustomed to being in front of a large group of people. And going along with that same vein, also, my Street Fighter career has also allowed me to adjust to that. For example, there have been several evolutions where I've been in the top 8 and I've been playing on stage in front of thousands of people. Evolution 2005, the Nationals in Vegas, I actually got 4th place in Super Turbo. I was in front of thousands of people because actually that year they had teamed up with MLG. So you had all the people for Street Fighter and you had all these people for MLG all watching you on stage. So imagine how nervous and nerve-wracking that could be. But just all those years of experience of doing it, of leading events at work and things like that, of being in front of people playing Street Fighter, really made me comfortable overall in front of the camera, and that's why I'm able to speak to you like this and not be nervous or stutter most of the time or anything like that. And actually it's also given me some pretty good time management skills. Like you kind of have like an internal clock in the back of my head ticking, so I kind of know roughly how long I've been talking on camera. So that's where that came from. Next question. Hey DSP, I love your videos, and I have a question or suggestion, I suppose. I'm sure a lot of people can agree that it's a bit frustrating that you don't upload your playthrough videos by naming the level or mission that is in the video. It's a bit annoying that if you just want to watch a certain part of your playthrough, we have to go from video to video to find it because the title just shows the part, not the actual mission. Alright, he's a typo. I think it would be better if you wrote the mission name in the title, like Enslaved Part 5, Mission 2, The Old City, Part 1 of 5, rather than just Enslaved Part 10. It would make finding things much more easier. I apologize if you have already mentioned why you do this in another video, blah blah blah. Thanks. From Braden Highland. Well, pretty timely question, because someone had mentioned to me the other day, a friend of mine, that he had been watching my Fallout 3 playthrough, and because of the way I named the videos, where in that time I actually did name them by mission and what I was doing, he was actually able to figure out what he was doing wrong and ended up finding the door that was right next to him the whole time, and he just walked right by it 100 times. The reason that I don't do this at this point is because it's very time consuming. It is basically, it's not, I don't want to say so much a pain in the butt, but it leaves a lot open to error, and let me explain what I mean by that. When I was doing the Fallout 3 playthrough, and I was doing certain missions, a lot of them I ended up naming wrong, or I thought I was doing the right thing for the mission, I ended up not doing the right thing for the mission, and then, it ended up misnamed, or I had to go back on my word later on. I think one of them there that I had called, I'm trying to remember what it had a name of certain station, and that was the name of the mission I was trying to do, but I ended up doing something else, and so it confused people. The other thing is a lot of these games aren't clear. A lot of these games aren't cut up into predefined chapters, and therefore it would be hard for me to say, for example, oh, this was Chapter 3, Live and Let Live, Part 1. Because sometimes the game doesn't even outright tell you the name of the chapter. Like, you may know after you get the achievement that they named the chapter a certain thing or something like that. The bottom line is, if I were to do that and name every single part, specifically what part of what game I'm in and what I'm doing in that video, number one, it would take a lot more time for me to get videos up because I'd have to look at all that information. And number two, completely honestly, I would probably either have to use online guides or strategy guides in order to figure out that I'm naming the things correctly. Right now, for the 99% of my games, I don't do that. I don't go online and look stuff up unless I get completely stuck and I don't buy the strategy guide. So I guess to answer the question is, for a game like Fallout New Vegas that I'm about to play, more than likely, I have to admit, I probably will buy the strategy guide for that game, because when you look at a game like Fallout, those games have so much content in them, you don't want to end up turboing by a bunch of cool stuff and missing it. This is actually what I did with Fallout 3. I played through the game once, the main story. I did some side missions as I came up upon them, but most of them I ended up skipping. And then after I beat the game, I went back and did optional missions based off of what was in the strategy guide, and I was able to do it based off of that. So what I'll probably end up doing is, for New Vegas, if I buy the strategy guide, I will be naming the videos like that. But if I don't, it's going to be too difficult. And I do apologize to people, but the bottom line is this. I do playthroughs. I don't do walkthroughs. I know I've been saying that for a long time. You could use my videos as a guide to beat the games, but for the most part, people just watch my videos to see if I'm enjoying the game, to see what my opinion is of the game at that time, not necessarily how to beat a certain puzzle or defeat a certain boss or find a certain door. And that's why it really hasn't been that much of a concern for me to name the videos specifically each chapter. Now, if I find there's an overwhelming feedback that people want that, then I'll look to do it, but that means that I'll have to buy the strategy guide basically for every game, so I know the actual names of what I'm doing and things like that. So give me some feedback. For the most part, I don't think it's been that big of a concern, but if it is becoming a concern, I can look to do it in the future. It's just going to be a lot more work for me. Alright, so we're about halfway through now, so I'm going to go ahead and split the video. And when we come back in part 2, we'll finish up all of the questions that I got in the DSP inbox email address, and also we'll address the Twitter questions. Thanks a lot. I'll be right back.